Hello and welcome back. Now in this particular lecture, I will be talking about that how you can parse JSON using JSON serialization class. Now JSON serialization class was used before Swift 4. So if you're using Swift 2 or Swift 3 point something, you can use JSON serialization class. You can still use JSON serialization class in Swift 4. It's just not really recommended in most cases, as you will see in this course, that there is a better way of doing things now. Having said that, it's always important to see how things were so we can appreciate the things how they are. Now, before I begin, I want to mention that I am using Xcode 9.3 release version, which you can download from the Mac App Store. And Playgrounds is extremely buggy in this particular version. There is a very high possibility that the Playground may crash, may freeze, may not work. Unfortunately, I can't really do anything about that. I will have to kill the Playground or Xcode and start again. Hopefully, it will be fixed in the future releases. Right? So before we parse JSON, the first step is actually to have JSON. So instead of having a URL and going to a URL and fetching JSON, we can simply create some JSON right inside our playgrounds. And this is by using the new feature of Swift 4, which allows us to create these type string literals right in the code. So I can simply create this string and I can have this multi-line or whatever, and then I can convert it into the data using the UTF-8 type and make sure to unwrap it also. And inside over here, I can type my JSON or basically any kind of string that I want. But I'm going to type JSON. It consists of a dictionary, and dictionary, we're just creating a very simple JSON to get started with. And the JSON is like John, that's the first name, and the last name is Doe. Now, I don't know if you can hear it in the background. The fan of my MacBook Pro are already starting to churn as I type using in the playground, and that is a memory leak in the playgrounds that's an issue in the playgrounds. Okay, so here's my JSON. It's a dictionary. It consists of a key first name, the value John, the key last name, value Doe. I mean, if you do want some other keys, I can go ahead and add age, and age can be whatever, 34 or something. All right, so that's an integer, string, and so on. So how can I use JSON serialization class to parse this particular JSON? So this is the old way of doing things, all right? So we're going to start with JSON serialization, and you can already see that the Xcode playground is not able to catch up. All right, so JSON serialization. And what we want to do is, let's go ahead and do that again, JSON serialization. And you can see that it's pretty much, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and restart this particular Xcode, and hopefully it will fix the problem. Okay, so JSON serialization dot JSON object, and you can see that the first argument of the JSON object function is the data. And luckily, we already have the data, which is on line number 5 in terms of JSON right here. So let's go ahead and do that. JSON, we're going to pass in the object, so data, and the next one is just whatever option you want. I'm just going to say allow fragments. Now, JSON serialization.json object function throws an exception or can throw an exception. So we're going to call it with try with an exclamation mark. Now this is kind of dangerous. If you're doing an exclamation mark, you're basically saying that if JSON serialization, this is not able to, sorry, this has to be JSON. So if this is not able to parse the JSON that you're supplying, then it's going to blow up. All right. So what is it going to give us? I'm going to say that it's going to give us a dictionary. All right, because it does look like a dictionary, but we still have to cast it to a dictionary. Now over here, we're going to be a little bit more safer, and we are going to use iflet in Swift language. So iflet is going to make sure that if this conversion basically fails, then dictionary will be null. And if dictionary is nil, then I'm not going to go inside over here. Now let's go ahead and print out the contents of the dictionary. So you can see that I can print out the first name and we're going to just jump to the age, and I can print out the age. And you can see John and 34. So this is how we used to parse JSON using the JSON serialization class and the JSON object function of the JSON serialization class. And this is a very, very, I would say, simple scenario where your JSON is returning or consists of a single dictionary with 3 keys. And you can see that we have parsed it as a dictionary with a string key, and any can be value, and that then we can access these things, as you can see, like John and 34 and so on. Now, usually you don't really work with dictionaries, right? I mean, in your class or in your project, you will have the model, and to represent this particular item or this particular format of JSON. Maybe it's a customer which has some properties called first name, last name, and age. And somehow you need to fill that customer object with whatever you have returned or received from the dictionary. So that is exactly what we're going to take a look at in the next lecture.